Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. We're about to start our ceremony. Dear all, diversity is being invited to the party. Inclusion is being asked to dance. These powerful words from Verna Myers, Vice President for Inclusion Strategy at Netflix, say it all. True inclusion goes beyond representation. It's about participation, recognition, belonging, and equity. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to the very first edition of EPBN WISE Workplace Inclusion for a Sustainable Europe Role Models Awards. EPBN WISE is a flagship initiative of the European Pride Business Network, dedicated to promoting workplace inclusion as a cornerstone of sustainable, resilient, and even more united Europe. Under the leadership of EBPN, 5 great organizations from across Europe have come together to take this vision into action by collaborating on a project that champions LGBTQIA+ inclusion in workplaces across borders. Through this program, Workplace Inclusion for a Sustainable Europe, we celebrate the power of visibility, allyship, and inclusive leadership across industries and communities. Tonight is a special night. We're gathering here to honor 25 incredible LGBTQIA+ role models coming from 5 European countries. People who are not just included, they are leading, they are inspiring, and they are reshaping workplaces across Europe. As we gather on a very special day, the 9th of May, which is the Europe Day, we celebrate not only these change makers that we're going to see tonight on the stage, but also great values that unite us in Europe, such as dignity, freedom, and solidarity. This evening is a true statement that the future of Europe is diverse and that competitive Europe means inclusive Europe, and that together we're dancing forward. Ladies and gentlemen, dear all, it is my great pleasure to welcome you. My name is Katarzyna, and it will be my honor to serve as your event host, taking care of the choreography on this stage tonight. It is truly wonderful to see so many faces from 15 countries around the world, 12 European and the United States, Canada, and Mexico. In total, 41 companies and 22 NGOs are represented tonight. And I would like to welcome all of you, our great audience gathered here at the Copernicus Center at the heart of Warsaw, as well as those joining us online via LinkedIn platform. Hello, we can see you there. So let's start with a little roll call from the countries. As I said, today we will award people coming from 5 European countries, and I want to locate all of you. So please give me a shout, anyone coming from France. Vive la France. From Italy. Buonasera, Italia. From Czechia. Dobry den, ahoy. From Germany. Guten Abend. And from Austria. And from Poland, of course. And now to officially open this ceremony, let me invite onto the stage the Minister of Equality of the Republic of Poland, Madam Katarzyna Kotula. Madam Minister, the floor is yours.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I think I would like to start with saying that black is my happy color, okay? So that's the one thing. And then the second thing I just wrote down is that this evening should be called, for me at least, I won't be unfortunately staying long, I will be here for half an hour, Dancing with the Stars. I will be dancing with the stars tonight. Thank you so much for this great invitation for tonight's evening. As the first historic Polish Minister for Equality, I am so honored that on Europe Day and during the European Diversity Month, I can say a few words to you here in Poland, in Warsaw, at the beginning of such an important event. Thank you for taking up such an important topic as diversity in the workplace, because we know how many challenges we have when it comes to protecting our values based on diversity and inclusion. The times are rough and turbulent, and many of those values that we celebrate here tonight and take pride in are simply under attack. Discrimination and exclusion from time to time seem to be a new trend around different important powers of this world. I want to thank especially to the Open for Business report, thanks to which we know that Poland loses millions of euros a year due to discrimination against LGBTQI people. That's why social inclusion is an important economic drive, and we should remind this every time we have this opportunity. But let's also consider the other side of the coin. This year's research clearly shows that equality and diversity simply pay off, not only for the society, which is happier, feels safer, and is therefore more creative, more innovative and caring, but also for the business. We often say that equality will happen when we think strongly about it and find good people who want to implement it horizontally, and when each and every one of us feels responsible for it. Because the story of Poland, the story of human rights, the story of women's rights shows that you can lose what you have won, or you can lose what you have gained. But this is exactly why we need this stronger cooperation, which can be a resilience shield against those who come with the idea of combating equality and diversity. We must work together to find inclusive solutions, especially in the context of equality, to protect our diverse communities from exclusion now more than ever. We must meet, get to know each other, network, and support each other. And we must appreciate that we are united not only by the challenges that we face nowadays, but also by our shared history, experience, and diversity of our societies. I know that in both non-governmental organizations and in business, this cooperation is one of those tools of your work. I want to thank you for wanting to teach us, to teach the administration, for sharing your tools, such as research and reports, for having our back. And this is, I think, the most important, because we feel it. We mustn't forget to celebrate, because that has to be an important part of our work also. But at a time when, as I said, some of the greatest powers in the world, or some of the leaders of the greatest powers in the world, are swimming in the other direction, we must stay on this big ship that I call the Ark of Noah, to save what has been won, what has been gained, but also to push forward, because it's not only enough to fight what we won. And I know and I believe that those people that are here today from different countries are the icons, the role models that will guide us, that will lead the way. And me, myself, as a Polish Minister of Equality, can only assure you that we will listen to you, we will follow you, and we want also Poland to show that those changes that many people have been waiting for so many years are possible. And I promise you, if you invite me next year, and if I am the Minister of Equality, I will come here to celebrate, wearing some colorful dress, and I promise to dance if the same-sex partnership comes to life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Minister. I think there is no need to convince you further that the next ceremony should take place also in Warsaw with Madame Kotula dancing here. Okay, and now a video message. Joining us remotely is the French ambassador for the rights of LGBT plus people, Jean-Marc Berton.
Dear friends, I'm pleased to join you in expressing France's full support for the initiative of the European Pride Business Network. Good inclusion of all at work, as in other sectors of society, is not just an economic imperative. It is part of our fundamental values, part of our European democratic model. France is fully engaged in the fight against discrimination based on gender identity and sexual orientation. Our laws prohibit and punish such discrimination, and the French government is encouraging employers to get involved, in particular with this wonderful association called L'Autre Cercle. This issue has become a hot political topic. I'm thinking of the Trump administration's offensive against diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. I'm thinking of the letters sent by American embassies to a number of European companies asking them to abandon these programs. Let's be clear, this kind of intervention is unacceptable. It is a serious interference in the internal workings of companies. It is also an inadmissible attack on European laws and values. The inclusion policy is not an ideology. It is not a luxury. It is a necessity for the success of our societies and of Europe as a whole. The work environment must be a place where everyone feels safe and respected. That's why initiatives like WISE are so important. By creating networks of role models and young mentors across countries and sectors, this project sends a clear signal that inclusion and equal treatment are not optional. France is proud to be at your side, alongside its European partners, civil society and the private sector, to promote professional inclusion and defend the rights and dignity of all. Thank you for your work, your voice and your vision. Together, let's continue to advance our European values.
Don't stop with this applause, because now is the time to invite onto the stage the host of this event. Let me welcome here Mr. Matthas Weber, the chairman of the EPBN, European Pride Business Network. Let's give him a big hand now.
Thank you. Well, again, thank you. Dear guests, dear supporters, dear friends, it's great to see this event and it's great to see you all here. It is truly a great joy and honor for me to stand here today as founder and chairman of the EPBN. And I have to tell you, I'm simply incredibly happy and proud. But why? Simple reason. 5 years ago, when we founded EPBN, it was just a small idea, to be honest. Very fragile little seed. A vision that we, as a passionate core team from across Europe, had, and we shared. We wanted to create a strong pan-European platform that advocates for LGBTIQA+ workplace equality across borders, cultures, and languages. And today, just 5 years later, and to be honest, we needed the first 2 years to build the fundament and to found this organization. in the very precise, but sometimes difficult German law. So we needed then 3 years to build this up, and we stand here as a recognized organization, supported by many others, and especially the European Union. Carried by today 23 member organizations from 21 countries from all over Europe. And that's the most important thing, countless volunteers. Without all of you, none of this would have been possible. So thank you very much for your engagement. We live in a time, and we heard it before, when queer people are under enormous pressure in many parts of the world. And more than ever, I believe, Europe must show that diversity, equality, and respect are not just nice slogans, but lived reality. That we as a society stand together, politics, business, NGOs, sponsors, activists, to create spaces where every person can authentically be themselves. That we get to show exactly this with EPBN fills me with gratitude and with pride too. We are more than a business platform. I believe we are a movement. We bring companies, political leaders, sponsors, and committed individuals together to implement projects across Europe that create a real impact. And that is why today we are celebrating those 25 amazing people we are honoring as European LGBTIQA+ role models. Congratulations to all of you. These role models stand for courage, strength, and leadership in the workplace. They show that visibility matters more than ever, that together we can break down barriers, and that engagement is always worth it. And I'm especially thrilled that our LGBT mentees and mentors are here with us today too. You are the future, and we believe in you. A very warm welcome to all of you. So let's celebrate together today. Let's be loud and visible, especially in these challenging times. Let's keep working to make Europe a continent that sees diversity as a strength in business, in politics, and in society. I want to thank all the sponsors, partners, the European Union, the political leaders who support us, and above all, each and every one of you who works every day to keep this vision alive. Many thanks to all of you. I want to give a very special and personal thank you. It's the last thank you. No, it's not the last. There's one more. To my incredibly dedicated board. And I'm so proud to see how you are engaged as volunteers, which new and more new and even better projects you realize for us in EPBN. And it's a pleasure to work with you. Thank you very much. To come to the end, and there's my last thank you, but it's a very special thank you. I want to thank my board colleague. He's our treasurer, and he is our vice project leader too. And his tireless commitment and passion have made this project into what we are celebrating today. Merci beaucoup, cher Christophe Margaine. EPBN was once a little baby, and today it has grown quite big. And the best part, we are only just getting started. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Weber. Every big initiative and a big plan and big journey starts with the first step. Okay, so let's continue with our series of addresses. And now let's hear from our project manager of EPBN WISE project, Christophe, Margaine. The floor is yours.
Thank you. It's much easier to be on backstage and to work on the project than being here in front of you. Dear Madam Minister Kotula, dear Krzysztof Śmiszek, dear guests, dear friends, I know, I guess, a lot of people here in this room. It has been a great pleasure to coordinate together with Jaime this project. So workplace inclusion for a sustainable Europe. Well, everything is said in the title. So you have workplace inclusion, sustainable Europe. It cannot be going wrong. It has to be together. It's because long-term performance and efficient sustainability could only be achieved with diversity and inclusion. D&I is a treasure to celebrate. D&I is about equal rights. D&I is not only a human right imperative, but also a crucial key success factor for competitiveness and for performance. Only diverse teams, only union of skills can make the difference in the long term. Only this can stimulate breakthrough initiatives and out-of-the-box ideas. A competitive Europe is an inclusive Europe. And as Commissioner Madame Tagliabue stated last week in Brussels, that we need D&I at the heart of the economy. D&I is a source of pride. And now I'm just going to be a few minutes of history. I will just go back time because tonight, okay, we celebrate this project, but this project already started like a year ago, and there's been a lot of work to be before this evening, and there's still a lot before the next event. So this WISE journey started already 2 years ago. Back in April 2023, we decided to jump into the unknown. Sometimes you need to take some risks. And even though you don't know everything, you just need to jump into this unknown to be bold and to join. And then we joined the forces of 5 incredible European non-profit organizations. So Leceref from France, Kreis from Germany, Edge from Italy, Pride Biz Austria from Austria, and Pride Biz Forum from the Czech Republic. So all of us, we decided to amplify initiatives at European level. We described it in a 45-page long document, this ambitious project to strengthen capacities in Europe to lead to better inclusion in the workplace. And back then, in the technical restriction, we already positioned the very first award ceremony to be hosted in Poland. We really believed at that time that Poland should be the country to start this journey, and also because Poland is leading today the EU presidency in the first semester of 2025. So once the grant was granted in December 2023, and once all the documents were gathered and so on in the EU platform, we were able to proceed to our project, and we really started in May 2024. Since then, we are living just an incredible journey of diversity and inclusion, a lot of first time. So there's even with different ages, I mean, there's a lot of first time still in this journey. I mean, one of them is that we were able to work together with several European countries, with everyone bringing their experience, their background. And this is a concrete example of the benefit of diversity. This was a wise decision. And then thanks to the diverse people on board, we are able already to show some successes from this project. We achieved already successful milestones, such as we launched the first European mentoring program in October 2024 with 25 mentees. We have 19 of them here present today. We also, there's 3 new countries that actually launched their very first national role model event, Italy, Germany, and Austria. We did also already some methodology report on the role model and mentoring so that other countries, other NGOs can start the same journey in their country. We will soon launch a survey on microaggression in the workplace. So it's still in the design phase, and it will be deployed soon all over Europe. And there is more to come because there's still 12 months before this end of this journey. So today, as it has been said already, we're celebrating the very first European role model. We are celebrating diversity in the workplace. We are more than 200 people in this room. And that's amazing that we were able actually to gather so many people in this Copernicus Science Center. We have around 40 companies represented, 24 NGOs from 15 countries, it has been said. And there's also a lot of people following us on the LinkedIn live streams. So I guess we can all give us a round of applause to acknowledge this is the support of diversity and inclusion. So let's congratulate ourselves to be here. I think Thank you. I think we do need this kind of celebration during those times. The wind is sometimes not going the direction we would like to, but we can be proud that we gather such a diverse European crowd tonight, from businesses, from civil society, with diplomats, from politicians. And with humility, I'm daring to say that I'm incredibly thankful for leading this WISE project. This is all about together expressing strong support on D&I, and to support European values, as it has been mentioned. Today is Europe's Day, so we need to celebrate values of freedom, solidarity, respect, and justice. And we said, I will stop here. Let's move on to the ceremony, to the panel discussion, and to celebrate our champions. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
A round of applause to Christophe. Thank you very much. So now you know that it's EPBN who's standing behind this ceremony and our gathering today, but it wouldn't be possible also without engagement and commitment of businesses and employers across Europe who value inclusion and diversity not only in words, but in action. I'm excited to invite you to the first panel discussion today. Let's hear some real-life stories and let's learn about the experience of our companies engaged in promoting this initiative. So this first session will be moderated by Tommaso Scalzi, whom I invite warmly to the stage. And let's welcome his dear panelists, Katarzyna Wiśniewska, CSR Director for Europe and the Middle East in Sephora, Ludmila Klimok, the CEO of Orange Polska. Please take your seats. Luka Kondosta, Group Head of Social Progress and Sustainability Building and Global Program Lead at ABB, and Tessa Pitum, Director for Diversity, Equity and Inclusion and Culture at Yvon Societe Generale.
So for enriching the conversation and to deeply understand, I would like to move forward with the first question I would like to introduce of you all. And in your opinion, what are the most effective ways to build an organizational culture where LGBTQ+ individuals feel secure and respected? And how can we truly measure the impact of these efforts? So please, so we can start.
Hello, everyone. When we talk about culture, I would like just to say that what really builds a culture within a company starts with the values and purpose. I have a chance to work for a company where the inclusion is the key element of our mission, why we exist, to welcome everyone in the world of beauty. It's true that beyond things that can happen or be seen as institutional, corporate, not really, you obviously need to walk your talk. It means that the purpose needs to be embedded and incarnated in how the leaders behave. And I have a big chance, like for example, our Polish GM is in this room today with us, just to give the example that it's just not statements, even if I do believe that signing charters like we did in France with Autre Cercle, the association that is promoting inclusive workplace in France, is also an interesting element of culture. It's sort of position a public statement of a company within some trends today. Taking stances publicly is also important. And then obviously on the other side, the culture comes also from bottom up. I was so proud to be able to create employees resource groups. It's the internal communities around this specific LGBTQ+ community. We have them in a couple of countries, including Poland. And it's such an energy when actually employees themselves decide what is important for them within the workplace, how they want to move forward, what type of actions and discussions they want to have with HR, with top management. So yes, it's important. And last but not least, if we still come to the culture, it's about going even beyond being an inclusive workplace. It's been a couple of years that we go also with client-facing initiatives on Pride Month. In most of European capitals, we will be hosting spaces in our stores where people safely can do and undo their makeups when they want to participate in parades. We are vocal on supporting community within Pride Month. And I do believe that it is also what's creating this incredible inclusive culture. We often say within LVMH that we are diverse by essence and we are inclusive by choice. And this is probably what the culture is all about.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I have a short question. So did you find any barrier to build a culture of inclusion inside the company? Do you find any barriers with the people? Yeah.
There are always barriers. We are a very diverse region, covering countries where the subject is much more challenging to cover. So that's the first barrier, that maturity and even legal aspect of how you can embrace that subject. From internal standpoint, we don't make any difference. Externally, it's a bit more complicated. Then after, it's also about how we, because today we are talking about inclusive approach to LGBTQI community. Actually, for me, if you really want to build inclusive culture, you cannot slice it community by community. It's just about embracing any difference.
Yeah.
And that is also sometimes, for me, a barrier, because even within the communities, sometimes we tend to, like just focus on ourselves, on our own difference, and try to, like push. Well, my project is more important, and it's so that would be mainly two things that come to my mind with which I had to struggle a bit.
That's great. And what do you think you can, as company, implement to build more daily the inclusion inside your processes inside the company?
Well, it's today the dynamic is so strong that it's more like sizing the right projects that really have that transformational power. Not only doing, because when I came to Sephora, we started with awareness. Like some initiatives were more strategic than the others, but for some people they counted a lot. So today it's more about, we have this big dynamics and we need to focus on what's more transformational.
That's great. And have you any specific method to measure the inclusion inside your processes?
Well, it's the easiest part of the process is the HR policies. We started with having a framework for recruitment that eliminates any form of discrimination. So typically we do audit our job descriptions that we post within the region. So we take an external company that is auditing how inclusive the way we express our of job offers. It's also about learning. So you can actually, if you ask all managers to be trained on unconscious bias, you can track progress. But the tool that really made a difference is the employees engagement survey that we run every year. And last year, for the first time, we really dedicated a diversity and inclusion section with questions like, do you feel you can express yourself fully? Do you think that the leadership is promoting inclusive values? Do you think that that Sephora is supporting communities? And that is really a powerful tool. We can capture the fine understanding of where we are in this diversity and inclusion culture building?
Yeah, I found very, very interesting that you put your focus on the unconscious bias just to measure the inclusion, because I think they are so important to understand how to respect people and how to do not respect people in an unconscious way. So thank you so much. And I would like to introduce to Tessa and come back to the first questions and asking you what's your cultural engagement for the inclusion inside the company?
Well, thank you so much for this question. And I fully underpin everything that you said, because I think it's so important to have this role modeling, to have the CEO of the company saying, this is what we do. At the moment that Donald Trump sent this letter that we just talked about, our CEO of Societe Generale sent out a message, we are not going to do this. We got this letter, we delete it, sorry. This is not happening.
Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah, this is something that we cannot accept. We are in Europe. We do the things we want to do in the way we want to do it. We are having a very good sense of equality, a very good sense of that everybody matters, that everybody can say and be what they want to be. And I think we should capture this. And as Societe Generale and Avens, we really focus on this topic. The D&I role is part of our HR strategy, is part of our company strategy, and together with the D&I team that's also present in Societe Generale, together we build all kinds of activities to keep this inclusion going, because it's not something that you can do once and think it's done. No, you have to repeat and you have to push for it, because otherwise it will not stay. You know, you see the powerful countries, the powerful leaders say things that are not inclusive. And if we as big companies don't stand up, then it will not change. So we have to keep moving on this topic. And this is what we do with our policies, with our procedures. Indeed, everything you said, I recognize, because if you don't build it into the core of your company, it's not going to work. And we also have some countries where it's more difficult. We have people in Emirates, we have people in Algeria, we have people in countries where it's not allowed. You can't be yourself. And we try to give this safe space to these people in all our countries. And if we organize something around Pride in France or in Amsterdam, we see that these people ask for a business trip to come to our country and to celebrate. And I think that's a real positive sign, because then they feel safe in our company.
Yeah, I think that's amazing, and so bring people to countries to share what they are. I think it's amazing, and I think it's an incredible way to feel themselves part of a family, of a community, of themselves. So I was previously would like to ask you if you'd like to share specific activities you are going to do with your D&I office inside the companies, and there is anyone else activities other than the fly to the Pride Month you do and you would like to share with the audience tonight?
Yeah, I think there are many activities. I also have to mention the Pride and Allies group that we have, the employee resource group indeed that you mentioned too. It's so important to have this group within your company and to talk about the topic, to create a safe space where people can share their experiences and make sure that their story is heard. I'm very proud that we have some people in our top leadership that are role models, that are sponsoring this Pride and Allies group within our company, and mentioning this is something that we need to do, because if they say it, everybody below them, and that's actually everybody in the company, has to follow, because this is the role model. If the role model is showing this behavior, then nobody dares to do something differently, and that's what we want to do. But also the educational part, we have regular webinars on what's inclusion, what's belonging, why is it so important?
Yeah.
Everybody thrives if you feel you belong. This is scientific research. So let's not deny this. Let's just make this work. Yeah. And I think this is something that, that we should do during Pride Month, but during the entire year, of course.
Yeah, that's great. And based on your activities and based on what you do daily inside the companies, is there any specific measurement of the impact you have with these activities along the year with the inclusion?
Yeah, we have, just like you mentioned, the employee barometer every year, where we have indeed a section on diversity, equity, and inclusion. Okay. But from we have representatives for DE&I in all our entities in every country that we work in, and we have a specific DE&I survey run by this group of people. So then we get more detail to it, because this detail and more knowledge on how people experience, we score quite good on inclusion and belonging. Our leaders score quite good, but still quite good is still like 85, 86%. Then you still have 14 or 15% that's not happy, that not feels included, that not feels that their manager is supporting them. And this we should still work on. So that's what we measure. And then we can also see in which country the most people are feeling not included.
Okay, and how do you think to improve the manager capability to manage and understand the people around them?
Yeah, it's mostly about training and repeating, but also bringing it back into the leadership fora that we have, where we talk with our leaders on the things that we want to change in the company. So our CEO mentions that this is important, and this is what he wants to see. This is how he wants people to behave. Our the principles, the guiding principles that we work by, that we live by in our company, authenticity is one of them. And if you don't follow this principle, then you don't belong in our company. And if you repeat this enough and enough, managers, leaders will really make an impact.
That's great. So thank you so much. So, Luca, we repeat with the first question. So, how can you improve the sense of feel secured and protected inside the company, and what's the culture of the inclusion inside the ABB?
Okay. Maybe I guess I start with a question. How many of you know ABB? Can you raise your hand? Oh, fantastic. Love it. So for those of you who don't know, ABB is a business-to-business company, so it's a little bit different from the spectrum we saw here, and it's basically working on energy efficiency and industrial automation. So the starting point is already different. And I come from finance, and now I sit in leadership development. So this makes also even a little bit more complicated the situation. So the story was that when we started, we decided, and I think that's the first step everybody should do, is to start understanding why it matters to you as a company. Because you can either join the moral cause and say, I should care for the human right, I should care for the LGBTQ plus right, or you try to understand what's the connection with your business. In our case, the connection was really a strong connection on a certain location, where basically we were losing people because they were saying that we are not inclusive as we claim to be. So once we decided what was our business reason why we started, we set up a project like, I know it doesn't sound very sexy, but like an anti-fraud program or an SAP implementation or SOX type of implementation. So we created the tone from the top and then the movement from the bottom. So we sign up United Nations Code of Conduct, the allyship of the CEO was important, the support from the top leaders, but then we start a grassroots movement, and we were lucky it was during Corona, so everything was online. So the first Pride Month, we had something like 2,500 people involved, touched at least one time in the company. And then last year, we had 6,800 people touch. I mean, you may say it's a lot. ABB is 105,000, so for me, it's still a few. but touching 6,800 on their shoulder to say, okay, you have to care about this topic, even if you're not part of the community, for us was a big thing. And we do this with different techniques. Sometimes we touch the brain, sometimes we touch the heart, sometimes we touch the wallet of people. It depends, So you have to motivate them somehow. So sometimes we show them, for example, what is the coming out? What's the story of coming out? How hard it can be to come out in ABB in certain locations. Sometimes we partner with Open for Business, for example, to show what's the business case for inclusion in certain countries. Or we recently joined, something on AI and inclusive algorithms with Edge. The idea is really to bring the knowledge where they are and then show them how they can change. Maybe a couple of things I want to mention. One was super important because we started with the awareness, which is the typical thing that everybody does. But then we say awareness is not enough because I'm a strong believer that we cannot, at least as ABB, we cannot take any credit on diversity at all. So 0 credit for diversity, because we are working in other countries, so the diversity is there. If we go down the street, we are really diverse. So we are benefiting from something which we didn't build, but the community, the organization, the politician built for us.
Yeah, everyone is.
Where we can get any credit is if we drive consciously the inclusion. So we amended our code of conduct to explicitly mention the 0 tolerance for LGBTIQ plus harassment, sexual orientation, gender identity, and so on. We changed all our benefit policy. It was painful. So even a policy like the third pillar, the pension scheme, or policy like the company car. In some countries, you cannot drive the company car if you're not legally married to a person, in Mexico, for example. But guess what? You only have 4 providers of company cars globally, so you change the policy and then you're done. It requires a lot of courage because sometimes you enter into a conversation which are confrontational, I would say, internally, but only if you send this signal, then the organization says, okay, now I feel welcome, and this is not something that when we leave is gonna be removed, but it's something that is gonna stay because it's so ingrained in the mechanism that then you cannot sneak out.
So you're looking to understand what's the international regulation on the inclusion just to make them feel more protected and secure inside ABB and the anti-company processes. That's right. So that's amazing. And you have a specific method to measure all your inclusion processes and activities during the year.
Yeah, this is the holy grail of inclusion. And many people, they are fascinating about measuring, how do you do, can you do, is impossible, whatever. So, there are some metrics which are very easy, which are the representation metrics, typically the quota for women. Very controversial, but this is what many companies do. If you look at the market, there are enough, I would say, indexes. If you take the US, you have HRC index. In Europe, we have Workplace Pride, or we have, for example, the Stonewall Index. So we decided to use Workplace Pride because it's very similar to a sustainability index. It's like FTSE for Good. So it gives you the list of the things you should do in terms of policy, employee benefit, awareness, employee resource groups, and so on. And by the way, we are super proud because when we started the employee resource groups, the first one was in Poland, consciously, really to drive the message that we care. So it was not ideological. And then Workplace Pride, for example, gives you also good proxy about, how do you progress year by year. So it's very factual. So if you do something, for example, in terms of advocacy, how many role models do you have in the company? Are always the same faces that you spot on the job posting? Or are different people talking about this? How important or how apical are the role models in the organization? How many policies have you changed? What do you do, for example, for the civil society? What do you do on your supply chain, for example? And then you can connect to what you were talking before about sustainability, because there are a lot of connectivity among that. So I think some people are still struggling on measuring the impact, but the idea is that if you use those indexes, I know I simplify a lot, but that's also part of our role to make it digestible. I think you have enough proxy of what can it be a measure for inclusion that tells you, okay, you're on the right way. And you also see when you're not progressing enough. I think this is super important because when you place those numbers in front of the leaders in the company, they don't want to be number second, number 2, number 3 compared, for example, to Siemens, Schneider, our competitor. So you also create a sense of urgency to say, if they score number 1, how can I get to number 1? Okay, you have to change the policy. Okay, let's do it. You create a narrative, which is a business narrative, and we don't operate like an NGO, we operate like business. So competition, market, business value, return on investment, speed, and I think that's where the business can bring a little bit of meat on the bone in the discussion.
And besides the number and results of the metrics, so you think that emphasizing all the culture inside the company about the inclusion, is there any chance to implement the emotional part of human beings inside the company?
Emotional part,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I always say we do have emotion in finance, so
Okay.
that's why I moved
Yeah,
to
I know
HR.
it's hard,
Yeah,
but
you know,
I think
yeah.
it's
And as Italian, we even have more emotions. No, jokes aside. So no, I think, yeah, you can. And that's why you have to touch sometimes the brain, sometimes the heart. So we really talk a lot about how to build psychological safety in the company. But for example, we build this one connected to the integrity topic. So the typical way you do integrity training in a company is you send an email to people, they click next until they get the certificate. No, that's a typical scenario, unfortunately, that happens. The way we decided to do the integrity training was also to create a culture where people speak up, and if they speak up about LGBTQ+, or if they speak up about menopause, about personal challenges when it comes to disability, or going back to work, for example, when you have kids. And I'm a parent of twins born through surrogacy in US, so it was quite painful to be in finance with 650 people waiting for you in a call and you have the kids in the back. So I think you have to show them that you can really role model day by day, but then at the same time you have to bring this level of leadership, which is a little bit less old style, and I would say more empathetic, courageous, inclusive, and all the characteristics we have today. But we really have to walk the talk, because I think I always say the intentions are not enough. You need there is this nice theory of signal, so we need to send several signals to the organization, from the top to the kitchen, to when you go to the washroom, to when do you hire the person, when you fire the person, you have to be inclusive, and everything else.
Thank you so much, Luca. And so, Lyudmila, coming back again to the first question, what's the culture of inclusion inside the Orange Polska?
For us, diversity and inclusion, it is not just at the main, it's like common denominator, strategic one. And the history of developing and working on it is long. So I'm really happy to share our experience. Orange Polska was one of the first companies who has started implementing diversity policies in the country, and approach is systemic. And I will mention, what we see as our strongholds and what really worked and helped us. But I also can share that after more than 10 years of experience in the company, the perception is evolving. Okay. When you start working on it, when you start talking walking the talk, when you really address it systemically, you see also very different expectations. Rising expectations from employees. For instance, when we were first running our diversity survey, because it all starts with dialogue. We are a strong believer that it starts with dialogue. You need to talk to people, to listen, to respond, to create this inclusive culture, answer to the challenges, so not just doing it for doing, but trying to really address the key priorities which we have. So 10 years ago, when we ran it for the first time, it was 2015. Actually, gender diversity and the sexual orientation was mentioned proactively by people as area where companies should not engage in, And in time, it is evolving, because when we are running it now our employees are telling us no. Gender identity, LGBTIQ subject should be the area where a company is expected to involve, where a company is expected to provide support and to be vocal. So it's like, for me, it's a strong proof that having the systemic approach, you are bringing the influence on the system, but of course it is giving you back, and raising your bar, and you need to go more and more. And actually, this is the way how culture of diversity and inclusion is created, not just by slogans or by quotas or by targets. Yes, it's by the way what you are doing, what are the company policies, what management speech is about, what are their rules which are implemented, what training programs managers should run for. So for us, it is a really learning from such, systemic approach. For instance, coming back to gender identity, what works for us, and so starting with the dialogue, and also within the dialogue, one of the response was creating the community, the network, Be Yourself, so which is very active network, and the company, to provide support and resources for this network of very active people to implement the initiatives, projects, which ideas that they are bringing. Other topic is, of course, communication. We were talking about communication, starting from the top management. We have been signing the LGBTIQ commitment charter among over 50 companies in Poland in 2023, where we were, very openly committing what we are going to do and how we are going to support this type of diversity, making it public, and then bring it to in place. Or sometimes it's really coming to training and developing diversity skills. It is skills. It should be developed. It's communication skill, and it is managerial skill. So we have a dedicated programs for our managers for diversity management. Now together with within group Orange Group, we have inclusive manager training. But sometimes it's like very basic thing, like webinars on the way how you should communicate in an inclusive way. Yes. Or sometimes it's changes which you need to implement with using, gender diverse naming for the jobs. Yes. Mm-hmm. And, and it is very visible in Poland, because in Polish language, it's very different when, when you say, I can be prezes and I can be prezeska, it's symbolic, sometimes simple, but when you put it in the recruitment announcement, and then you go through all your policies, starting that, for all employees, for communication team. Of course, for us, it's also a dedicated team which we have, which is working on having it as their scope of job. We also have our DEI manager who is transversally coordinating that. But fundamentally, we should not be shy from saying why we are doing it. Yeah. Because it's a very clear, benefit which is created for everybody, for company, for employees. It is very proven studies showing how do perform company who are promoting diverse policies and inclusive policies versus those who are not doing it. How happy and are people there. It's about developing and exploring the potential of everybody. And for us, as for industry, when we are talking about telco, information technology, ICT, core skill is, and also innovation, and obviously diverse teams, whether it is gender identity, women, men, age, cultural. It's essential because we are just more efficient, and we are just more innovative in what we can bring to our customers. So there is a very clear benefit, and I think we should not hide it. Yes, it's business benefit, it's employees benefit, and fundamentally, customers are getting benefits, shareholders are getting benefits. So.
And when you started to talk publicly about inclusion and to people to be themselves, did you find, or are you finding at the moment, some shyness layers between relationships from manager and employees inside the companies or not?
It is developing gradually. Of course, there are barriers and restrictions at the beginning, but when you are talking about it, for instance, last year, and we are going to repeat this initiative this year, we had the whole week dedicated to gender identity diversity, and all their animations, webinars, like rainbow ice cream eating, so from small things to real deep talking about the subject.
From small things come great things.
Yeah, and then, involving our board members, managers, we do have very active community as well, and change leaders. So and then when you are doing it, like during the whole week, supported by 360 degrees program, it is bringing effect, and people are coming out. And also the work in the community, when having the dedicated workshops talking about barriers, about sentiments, about how do I feel, it's bringing a lot of benefit.
That's great. And are you achieving any specific ways to measure, like other companies, all the activities throughout the year?
Probably, like we are all using the same metrics. So we do have our engagement survey, Voice Up, which we are running on a yearly basis for many years. So we can monitor it. And within the survey, we have for many years a very clearly defined diversity and inclusion set of questions. How do I feel? What is company policy? Do we believe that really Orange is a place which is welcoming, or free of harassment, of any discrimination? So several, questions which is addressing the topic, and we have a very legitimate, response. This year, we have more than 91% of our employees participating into the survey. So we have very, very active employees. And this area is one of the areas of our stronghold. Even when I look, it's run by Mercer, by one of the supplier. Even versus European norm, Orange Polska is showing plus 8%. So we are at 92% of people are saying that they do feel very comfortable, and we Orange Polska is a place which is free of any discrimination and very inclusive place, which is driving fundamentally engagement. So, and then there are of course Verba teams, and through dedicated surveys we are going also with targeted actions where we still should work, what should be improved, but fundamentally you are doing it like this.
Yeah, I think this is a really great achievement you got this year and during this period. So I think today we learned a great statement that companies and the power of companies to influence governments and public policies are so important. And I mean, it's truly vice versa, but the businesses the power to drive all the change at an international level. So maybe we finish the panel. So I would like to thank you all for your availability and your talk today. So, and thank you all so much to get in touch with us today.
Thank you.
That was Tommaso Scalzi as a great moderator, and pieces of evidence from real businesses experienced in spreading diversity and inclusion message. Speaking about businesses that really walk the talk on diversity and inclusion, we wouldn't be here if it hadn't been for our great sponsors. Let's hear from them. Orange and Legrand.
At Orange, we are convinced that diversity and inclusion are drivers for attractiveness, for creativity, for well-being, and eventually performance. That's why we are valuing very much the diversity, and that's why we are fighting against any form of discrimination at the workplace. That's why also we support the EPBN WISE initiative to celebrate role models. And we are very happy to be present for this very first ceremony to celebrate these role models, including my dear colleague Aliette. They are showing us the way, they are inspiring us, and we want to thank them and congratulate them. So thank you to everyone, and a special thanks to the EPBN WISE initiative teams. Thank you.
At Legrand, inclusion started with conviction. Our entire executive committee made it a top priority and shared it early on. Our purpose became Legrand improving lives. And we know that lives cannot truly improve without social justice and equality for all. Our commitment to LGBT+ inclusion is where our purpose meets our conviction. This is how we want to shape our culture, the culture where everyone can feel safe and grow.
I was in the closet for 18 years. I decided to come out because I felt safe enough. Seeing people being out as LGBT+ or allies and still build great careers gave me the strength to show up fully. And with a few colleagues, we decided to start the Legrand Rainbow ERG in 2020.
Legrand was the first company I joined after my transition. I made a choice on what was visible from the outside. From day one, I was respected, not just as a leader, but as me. That respect gave me the strength to stand with dignity, to be visible, and to champion inclusion from within. Because real change starts when we live together.
I believe it is the responsibility of large companies to set an example, especially in the current global context. Therefore, as an LGBT employee, I have decided to become LGBT ambassador at Legrand, as a visible example, with a desire to contribute to the improvement of our society at my level. If I can prove to one person, then two or more, that they can be themselves and thrive in their professional and personal environments, I will have achieved my goal.
Joining a new company as a young LGBT+ employee, I didn't know what to expect. But when I saw role models that were openly themselves, I realized how powerful visibility really is. It showed me that I could be authentic, bring my whole self to work, and still have a chance to succeed. I felt inspired to go beyond my regular responsibility, and that's why I joined Legrand Rainbow.
Well, this is us. We are not saying it's easy, but we try. We try very hard. We are committed to improve life through inclusion, because inclusion drives innovation, and innovation drives growth. This is simple, powerful, and just.
We will hear from our other sponsors later tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, as we're meeting at the 9th of May, which is the Europe Day, that means that today we're celebrating not only LGBTQIA plus inclusion, but also the European values and the European collaboration. And to mark this special occasion, I'm honored to announce the video message coming directly from Brussels. It'll be Madame Anna Carla Pereira, Director for Equality and Non-Discrimination at the European Commission's DG Just.
Dear diversity supporters, today we celebrate the exceptional contributions of 25 diversity and inclusion champions at the Role Models Award ceremony. This impactful project highlights the best practices of European businesses. It celebrates their commitment to advancing diversity, equality and inclusion policies. Workplace inclusion is the foundation of a sustainable Europe. Through diversity, it drives both social cohesion and economic resilience. Welcoming diversity into our workplaces means opening the door to new ideas, innovation, and creativity. Diversity and inclusion at the workplace offer a wealth of talent and an effective way to address skills gaps. This is crucial in the current economic context, with the EU job vacancy rate approximately 70% higher than 2020. Let's be clear, pursuing diversity, equality and inclusion is not only an ethical choice, it's smart business. In fact, in a more diverse workplace, employees work better as a team with productivity gains of up to 32%. Companies' growth, thanks to diversity policies, may translate into 120 billion added to the EU's annual GDP. And yet, these are challenging times for LGBTIQ rights around the world. According to a recent survey of the Fundamental Rights Agency, violence against LGBTIQ people has risen. 14% of LGBTIQ people had been physically or sexually attacked in the 5 years leading up to 2023, compared to 11% in 2019, with trans people being among those more affected. Even if discrimination against LGBTIQ individuals at work is decreasing, it's alarming that in 2023, 18% still face discrimination. These numbers should serve us as a stark reminder that there is much more work to be done. Building a union of equality where all people can live free from discrimination needs commitment at every level. Since the adoption of the EU's first LGBTI equality strategy in 2020, there has been an increase in social acceptance of LGBTIQ people across Europe. And we ought to build on this momentum. I would like to invite you to contribute to the public consultation on the renewed strategy. The consultation is currently available online and will be open until the 24th of June. Business leaders and managers know that creating a diverse and inclusive workplace requires ongoing effort, commitment, and a willingness to learn and adapt. The benefits of facilitating diverse and inclusive workplace outweigh the challenges. It leads to a healthier organizational culture and better overall performance. The EU platform of diversity charters can support organizations in achieving these goals. The platform brings together over 17,500 organizations and serves as a powerful tool for promoting diversity and inclusion. 27 diversity charters support national business leaders in their efforts to cultivate inclusive workplaces. These European role models serve us as an example. I also want to acknowledge the work of many institutional players, companies, and civil society organizations. Your work is essential to create a more just and equitable society beyond the workplace. I am grateful for your dedication and commitment, and today I would like especially to congratulate the European Pride Business Network. Your efforts to build capacity and strengthen workplace inclusion are key to drive a change. It is inspiring to see how the SERVE program of the European Commission can support different projects, including the WISE initiative. Thank you to everyone in EPBN, the WISE project's partners, and the 25 European role models for your tireless efforts, effective collaboration, and inspiring achievements. I look forward to continuing our work together to create a more inclusive and equitable Europe for all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're also honored today as we've been joined by two members of European Parliament here in Warsaw. Let's now hear a few words from Carolina Morace, the Italian member of European Parliament and Vice President of the LGBTQIA+ intergroup. The floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. First of all, thank you for involving me in this important event, which promotes a strong and necessary message. Inclusion in the workplace is not a frill, but a pillar of a truly sustainable Europe. We know how much rights matter, but we also know how powerful examples can be. The people we are celebrating today as a role model show us through their courage and authenticity that being oneself at work is not only possible, but also a powerful act of cultural transformation. Inclusion is not just a moral duty, it is a benefit for all. Where there is a space for every identity, where everyone feels respected, creativity flourishes, innovation thrives, and competitiveness grows. The companies that have understood this and that are supporting this project today are showing that inclusion and performance are not mutually exclusive, but rather reinforce one another. As a member of the European Parliament, I commit every day to bringing these values into European institutions, because a fairer Europe is also one that recognizes the value of diversity, projected that the right of LGBTQIA+ people, and works to guarantee equal opportunities for everyone in every sector and in every country. I want to thank those who are stepping forward today, those who choose to be visible, those who are paving the way for others. Visibility is a political act, and in many contexts, it is still an act of courage.
And to round things off, a Polish member of the European Parliament, Mr. Krzysztof Śmiszek. The floor is yours.
Good evening, everyone. Dobry wieczór. It's a great pleasure and great honor to be here. Just one remark. I don't know if you noticed, but both Carolina and me, we are representing the left and the center left, and we are very much comfortable here, being surrounded by business people. So please appreciate that. Well, I mean, it was mentioned today so many times that 9th of May is a European Union Day, Europe's Day, and this is a very good moment to underline that European Union is not only about trade, it's not only about economy, it's not about money. Of course, it is about all those issues, but European Union, Europe is also about dignity, respect for diversity, respect for everyone, and recognition of every one of us. So to my mind, as a member of the European Parliament, those two issues, money, trade in market, and dignity, equality, and diversity can go together hand in hand, and they are not in contradiction. So Europe is also about that. But being a member of the European Parliament, I owe you few words about the atmosphere in Brussels, in Strasbourg, within European institutions. So good news and bad news. Good news is that the parliamentary LGBT intergroup that is composed of different members of European Parliament from different parties is still the biggest intergroup in the European Parliament. We are more than 100 members of the European Parliament from the center-right to the left, and we are very proud of it. But the bad news is that European Commission few weeks ago announced that it is going to withdraw the works on the Horizontal Equality Directive. European Parliament and the committees I belong to, we are fighting to maintain the works on the Horizontal Anti-Discrimination Directive, and I'm pretty sure we will win this battle, because you probably heard that there is a new sacred holy word within the European institutions, which is deregulation. And of course, you as business people, you probably love this word, deregulation, but sometimes the regulation also brings some victims. And one of the first victims of the regulation is, just like I mentioned, the draft of the Anti-Discrimination Horizontal Directive. So I'm pretty sure that European Parliament and the European Commission will agree on maintaining the works on the directive. But I wouldn't be myself not to mention some of my personal stories at the occasion of this event. Well, as a human rights defender, before I joined the politics in 2019, I was a human rights defender, human rights lawyer, and I saw too many LGBT folks escaping my country because of hatred, because of the discrimination, because they were not respected by the state, by the communities, also by their employers. And I think that the times have changed, and you are contributing as business people, business companies to this change. And I would like to thank you so much for contributing to the change of atmosphere, contributing to the shift of the social approach towards LGBTI people. I must also admit that before I joined the politics, as I mentioned, I was a LGBT the human rights lawyer, and one of my main tasks was to sue the companies which were not respecting the rules of non-discrimination, the rules of diversity, and the rules of dignity. And I'm pretty sure, well, the lawyers like me will soon have to change their focus, because having more companies like yours will bring about a huge change. And let me finish with one sentence. I really love it, and I know it's not a political event, but I'm a politician. I really like the saying that was presented by Kamala Harris when she lost the recent elections in the US. She said, "Only when it is dark enough can you see the stars." And I think that you're the stars. You are leading us to a better world and better Europe. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Having a little sneak peek into the European role models now, let's hear even more stories. Stories coming directly from our LGBTQII and ally role models. Then time for the second panel discussion. This time, it will be moderated by Sophie Delannoy, CEO and offshore racer, who will invite to the stage her great panelist. From France, Frédéric Xery, Executive Vice President for Europe at Legrand. From Austria, Tamara Schädl, Head of Global Quality Solutions and Sandoz. And from Germany, Tanja Bauer-Glück, owner of the Bauer business Beratung Mainz. The floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sophie Delannoy, and I'm very happy to be in front of you because it's 2 years that Christophe Margaine has been talking about this event, and it's very great to see it come to fruit, this work. So, we have the three gemstones, 3 heroes, each one of them in their respective role. And actually, I was summoned to do this animation yesterday, so I had a set of questions, which actually we agreed was particularly boring. So we tried to change. And they agreed 10 minutes ago.
Did you agree?
Right, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, you can applaud, because that's double salto, as we say in French. Actually, I think what's important is that you inspire tonight. You inspire all the people in the room with your experience, with the things you have been living in your life, in your business life, as an ally, as some LGBTQI people in your companies or in your own business. So I think what I want you is to talk about your personal experience, because in the room there are HR people that need to hear from you, Tamara, what you would have liked to find in your companies and what should be put in place so that everything happens well for people in the future. There are some business owners that want to hear from you what it is to be advocating for LGBTQ inclusion when it's your business. And there are people in the room that will be allies, like you did, Frédéric, and they want to hear from you what is your experience about this. So I'm going to try my best to make them spill their guts about what they've been living, and I hope you're going to be inspired by this moment, which will be interesting, I think. So I was wondering in which order I should let them talk, and actually I will take the LGBTQEI plus order. So Tanya, what actually people want to know is your job is to counsel businesses and to try to improve their performance, and actually you are your situation is to witness and talk about LGBTQI inclusion in the workplace. What are the difficulties, the pushbacks you feel in this business? Can you tell us about this, please?
Of course. And unfortunately, there are a lot of pushbacks, especially when it comes to people that never knew to work with LGBTIQ plus people, or for that matter, Black women or women. So it's quite a challenge still, and I feel that the challenge even becomes bigger. And talking of being inspired, I just was inspired by Justin saying that DEI has to be reimagined. And I really think that this is true. Sometimes what I encounter when I'm working with people, I have many leaders, I have many business owners that I coach, and we talk a lot about mindset. And it's always a fixed mindset that people have. So they have an image, or they anticipate people to be a certain kind of way. And then surprisingly enough, things are very different. So what I try to do is not to be quiet about things. When I, in a coaching or workshop or whatever setting it is, and I feel that people are not on a good route, they don't think in a way that I think, well, we can leave it like that. No, we can't. In times like that, I cannot have people think like it doesn't matter. because it matters, because we're talking about people, we're talking about human beings. And I believe that staying quiet in these times is not okay. You have to stand up and speak out. And I think we can all do it in a very, very polite way. We don't need to be aggressive about it, although maybe in one way or the other, I had an encounter where I was very aggressive, and it took a couple of hours until I got back into the relaxed mode. Yeah, I think speaking out is one of the most important things that we have to do in times like these.
Thank you, Tanya. Guys, do you want to hear a little bit more about Tanya from Tanya? Are you okay? Yes. Yeah, so I'm going to push things a little bit further. Tanya,
go ahead.
What is the hardest situation you've encountered in this matter?
I think it was the one.
She has not prepared. No. She's really live. So I testify she's really live.
I think it was the situation where I really got aggressive. So I had a workshop, and it was about what does diversity mean for companies. And it was within the tourism industry, and as you might anticipate, the tourism industry isn't always that diverse, even though I think it should be more diverse. And I was talking to a business owner who said to whatever I said, he said, well, I'm doing that already. And by the way, I have women in my company, and I have LGBTIQ people in my company, and they all work fine. What does that mean? Well, if we don't talk about things, it's easy. Because if we talk about things, there are always discussions. Yeah, yeah, there is. So we did that game for about an hour. And when he told me that working with women, and I would be the perfect example for that, is very complicated because they just don't want to keep their mouths shut. You might know why I was aggressive at that point. But as I said, I feel that there are so many things about having this fixed mindset, and we just can't live with that at the moment. The world is changing, and we're all there, and we're not going anywhere. So being able to have an agile mindset, to be capable to open the lens a little bit and just see what all of us are going through. And I gotta say, I came out very late in my life, but I'm still no stranger to discrimination, as you can imagine, being socialized in Germany as a black woman or a black girl at that point. This is, as I said, this is the time to speak up, and everybody, whoever thinks that it's complicated to work with black people or LGBTIQ people or whatever people for that matter, no, you gotta change your thinking, because I get aggressive.
Thank you so much, Tanya. And I really appreciate the fact that you are stressing, you're putting the light on something, is that we are not only talking about LGBTQI rights, we are talking about the rights of all marginalized people. I'm not doing the conference, though. I'm just animating, so I shut up. But you know, Christophe, it's hard for me. Tamara, you and me, we share a particular experience. So you have a 50% trans panel here, so that's very rare. You have to note this. Sorry for outing you. No. I'm really happy to have you with this microphone there. Can you tell us, in the moments you have been living, what you would have liked to be implemented in your company when you transition? Because the people here, they are doing the things. They're doing the things in the companies in the years to come. So they need to be inspired by what you've been living.
Yeah, thanks. I think first of all, I'm very glad in Sandoz we are already very much advanced from our policies perspective. As you might know, we have just spun off from our mother company, from Novartis, a large pharmaceutical player as well. And I was then I had the opportunity to shape also these policies a little bit. And I used my transition experience also to encourage the leaders and encourage also key decision makers within the company to implement a framework which also makes it easier for transgender associates to transition at the end. One point here I would like really to point out is we have now a brand new, around 9-10 months old transition handbook, which really describes detailed steps, and it's kind of a guidance document for the OPM, for the operational manager, for HR, but also for the colleagues, because for them it might be the immediate change they might see when you suddenly change the name. But on the other hand, we just saw the new Pope was elected and everyone easily adapted to a new chosen name. So what's the challenge with changing a name to a preferred name at the end? Yeah, we should maybe ask someone sitting also in the UK, and we see also the backlash now in the UK specifically with transgender rights. I mean, you and me, we might hear this. I'm not traveling to UK in the next couple of months, not knowing where I should go for B. No, it's for transgender people at the moment, it's not that easy traveling. We need to think, Sophie, you know it as well. Where do I go for B? Can I go to the women's restroom in the airport, or can I not go there? Is it safe for me to go to the men's restroom? I doubt it. So that's a little bit the challenges where we are in, and I'm happy to have this handbook now in the organization implemented. It also gives us a little bit a backbone of structural changes, because we also foster in this document a kind of guidance for inclusive restrooms. It's a small step, I would say, but an inclusive restroom is something which can be implemented easier. Most likely all of you have disabled toilets in your space, in your offices. They can be easily refurbished to inclusive restrooms, all gender restrooms, however you want to call it. And that's, I think, also one of the first steps where you can make a difference to the trans community. We heard a lot today already about ERGs, employee resource groups. We call them community of belongings, because we want to create a belonging. And here it's important for me not to have an ERG for the community itself. Important here is to have allies, because those are making the difference. Those need to speak up when you're not in the room. And a real ally is someone who speaks up when I'm not in the room. And I know I have great allies here. I have here my manager, Edith Colodette, who flew in, Chief Quality Officer of Sandoz. I'm very happy to have her in the audience here as well, which shows also the commitment top-down from the organization, supporting not only myself, but the community. And this brings me to the next topic. When you have an ERG, it's not about having someone from the community leading this ERG. It must be empowered by top management. It must be supported from the C-suite level, senior executives, from the CEO, from the board of director levels. Otherwise, this will not fly, and it's a nice time for the community, making some fun activities for themselves, but it will not change any corporate policy. So saying that, we need to find a way creating awareness at the top managers level, getting them as an ally. And here, I was thinking about if I should share it or not, but I really like the experience of the so-called, we call it reverse mentoring program. Not sure if anyone heard about it already. So we are a bunch of volunteers from the community mentoring senior executives. And I had the honor to mentor our chief HR officer, to mentor our CEO as well. And it was awesome. It was an awesome experience. And I'm 100% sure that our CEO and also our chief human resource officer is standing behind us as an ally. They understand where are the pain points. They understand what do we as a community need. But we need to make these initial efforts to build this awareness, bringing them into an understanding to have them as an ally. Without that, you will not succeed.
Thank you, Tamara. One more surprise question.
You surprised me already, Sophie, today with showing up here, basically. As we got informed today in the morning that now you are our moderator, so you don't surprise me anymore.
That is the trends agenda, you know, the hidden one that everybody's talking about. You know.
I'm not surprised
We're doing
anymore.
very, very secretly. What is the happiest moment you've been living during your transition at work? What is the nicest thing that happened? The moment where you felt, that's incredible what I'm living. What?
Yeah, thanks for the question. And it's causing not really tears in my eyes. It's okay. It was the moment when my wife told me, yeah, she stays with me, she loves me. She loves the person, she doesn't love the gender. That was for me the most rewarding moment in my life, and this really showed me that my wife is the right partner for me, and that we are really meant to be together, and that I want to spend the rest of the life with her. Thanks.
Thank you. Frédéric, you're going to have a hard time.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know. You're very thankful. Frédéric, you're an ally, and you're here as an ally, and you're distinguished as an. You will be distinguished as an ally. There are a lot of people in the room. Once again, there are a lot of people in the room that will be in position to be allies, or that are already allies. And what's important is that you transmit as much as you can from this very personal experience it is to be an ally. So I'm going to grill you with a couple of questions. So first one, when the hell did you decide to become an ally?
I was forced. Yeah. No, kidding.
I know by...
No, in reality, I've been, being a manager in the company during years. And I've been very fortunate in my life that my parents gave me a lot of value of tolerance and openness. And for me, inside the working, space, there were no difference between people. And there were some people we knew they were gay or LGBT, and that was like this. And for me, obviously, it was not an issue. And obviously, they were hiding and they were lying. And sometimes for me, it was a little bit fun, to think that, I was understanding they were lying. And, but it was okay. I thought it was their choice. And one day I realized that finally they were lying because they were suffering. And the day I understand that, I said, well, there is something wrong. Because I would like to say, well, be yourself, speak out loud, and there is no issue with me. So, I didn't know how to do in reality. So the fact to just say, well, don't worry, you are in a safe place with me, I am an ally. I discovered that finally people were that much at ease and happy to be able to be free of saying who they were, that, well, that was the base of the decision.
Thank you. So what's the most incredible moment of allyship? When was being an ally the more demanding to you? The more
Well, being an ally is like, you know, doing your coming out. And I will explain you one thing that was very funny, and I did like this moment with my family. That well, I published on LinkedIn, and obviously there were the flag, and people, you know, they read LinkedIn posts like, and one day one of my son came and said, "Hey, Dad, you know what? Somebody told me you were the president of the gay."
And you said yes.
I said, that's me. And a lot of people were asking me, why? We didn't know you were supportive. I said, well, perhaps you didn't know me. And so now you know me. So it's a kind of coming out also to be an ally, because you will have a lot of questions from a lot of people that will question why are you supporting, why are you doing that, and so on and so forth. And at the end, it's also a very interesting moment in life, okay, to be, well, to say, well, I support that, I like that, I have no issue with that, and interesting. So that's one of the things. The second thing is, and I told you this story very recently when, so we have this policy at Legrand, and I have been the first sponsor for the LGBT network. And somebody came and said to me, well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And that was very emotional for me. Because sometimes you are doing things because you think it's natural, and you don't measure finally the good that you are doing to others. And when you have people coming to see you and telling, wow, what you did is great, you understand that those people were suffering a lot, not being able to be out. And the guy was so happy to say, well, now I can present you my husband, I can present you the mother of my kid, and I can present you my kid, and I brought them to the office. And before that, most of the, I guess, he could not do that. He would not dare to do that. And so I think this is a great achievement. And it was a fantastic time for me.
Thank you, Frederic. Same question. Do you want to hear a little bit more about Frederic? Yes. Okay. So one more question. I think I know quite the ambience at Legrand, so I kind of know the answer to the question, but I think some of the people in the room will be asking themselves this question. So I think it's important you talk about this. Is there a moment you have been wondering what would be the impact on your personal career of being an outspoken ally?
The answer is no.
Okay. Thank you very much for your cooperation.
No, you know, I am the kind of person who like to be, myself. And if I think something, I say it very directly, and you know that, and Christophe knows that. And I think that if you be yourself, even as an ally, and if people are thinking that it's not right, then you are in the wrong company, or you are applying for the wrong job. So don't go.
Well, on this very good news, I think we've done the job. Congratulations!
We are ahead of time.
Oh yeah, right in time.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for sharing your personal stories. So, ladies and gentlemen, and dear all, there is only one thing that divides us from the award ceremony. This is presentation of our two great sponsors, Sephora and Societe Generale.
We champion a world of inspiration and inclusion where everyone can celebrate their beauty. Our purpose is who we are, who we've been, and what we bring to the world every day. It's what we look like at our best. It's in how we uplift our partners and champion their success. It's in how our people find meaning and belonging in their work and each other. It's in how we inspire our clients to dream and discover beauty together. Our purpose is in all of us.
Hello, my name is Katarzyna Bielecka. I am General Manager of Sephora Poland and Czech Republic. We are proud to support the European Pride Business Network project. Thank you for inviting Sephora to participate in this important initiative. At Sephora, we believe that workplace should be inclusive, safe, and welcoming for everyone. That's why we are excited to join this initiative. Embracing and celebrating diversity is deeply rooted in Sephora's DNA. Together with our partners, we consistently highlight the importance of supporting all forms of diversity. We are convinced that diversity is our strength, and we strive to express that every day. Sephora actively supports the LGBTQ+ community. We take part in pride parades, we provide our managers with trainings in diversity, equity, and inclusion, and we organize classes for confidence, workshops to increase self-confidence for LGBTQ+ community. Our goal is to ensure that everyone feels accepted and empowered to reach their full potential, what is also a powerful driver of innovation, creativity, and business success. Thank you, and I wish you an unforgettable evening.
Sephora, we belong to something beautiful.
Hello, everybody. My name is Laura Mather, and I am the co-sponsor of the LGBT+ network at Societe Generale, and I'm also the group COO. I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about what diversity means to me and how I think it can impact an organization such as ours and such as all of the organizations across Europe. Prior to joining Societe Generale 2 years ago, I was with Credit Suisse for 28 years. And in my experience, diversity is very important. It's important for our clients, it's important for our employees, and it's important for the work that we do across the organization. When people bring their whole self to work, when they feel comfortable with what they're doing, people give the best of themselves. And every person's different perspective helps us to build better solutions. It helps us to connect with a very diverse client base, and it helps us to deliver the best possible business advantage for all of our businesses and for society as a whole. One of the things that's been very apparent in my career is how important advocacy and allyship is. And just speaking out, just saying, I am an ally, I am supportive, and this is important, gives people such an opportunity to speak up. So if I have one word of encouragement for everybody today, it's be an active ally. Actively help support diversity in your organization. I'm exceptionally grateful for all of the work that the Pride and Ally Group does at Societe Generale, and I think we are really making a difference. I wish you all a lovely conference, and sorry I can't be there.
It was worth joining us today. So now, the highlight of tonight. It is my pleasure to announce that the time has come to honor the trailblazers at the heart of the celebration, the role models. It's the first edition of EPBN WISE Awards, and we recognize 25 extraordinary individuals across 3 categories. The first one, leader LGBTQIA+ role model. Second, outstanding LGBTQIA+ professional. And the third, ally role models. To lead this momentous part of the evening, please welcome to the stage Madame Teresa Kadlecowa, Executive Director at Pride Business Forum. Let's give him a big warm welcome.
Welcome, good evening. My role today is to deliver those stars to the real stars of this evening. So I think we all are waiting for this moment, and you have the names, right?
Yes, of course, I have them. I'm the very person to have them. But before that, I present the procedure for all you to know. So I will invite one by one role models to join us on the stage. The procedure for you is strike a pose, show yourself to our photographers, and don't leave us because we will have a family photo after each category. So that was the technical part. It is my pleasure to announce that in the category of leader LGBTQIA+ role model, the trophies go to Alexandre Maïma from France, Aliette Mousnier-Lompré from France. From Italy, Andrea Notarnicola. Also from Italy, Ariana Forzani. Please join us, come here. From Czechia, Barbara Šiklova. From Austria, Brigida Bichler. From where are these? I want to see you here. Don't leave me alone. From Italy, Ferdinando Poscio. Also from Italy, Luca Condosta. Mario Di Carlo. From Germany, Robert Nessing. From Austria, Tamara Schädel. From Germany, Tabia Fesser. Also from Germany, Tania Bauer-Gluck. From France, once again, Xavier Vey. And once again from France, Johan Lacan. Okay, our procedure needs to take time. Time for pictures, time for celebrations, time for another round of applause to all of them. They deserve that. Some helpful hands from EPBN. You can always count on EPBN team. What a great support. Thank you, Christophe. Thank you, Matthas. Okay. Is it possible that someone took 2 of them? One missing. Last but not the least, as we call it. Let's appreciate their efforts. Congratulations. So now it's time to strike a pose for our photographers, the photo shoot time. Okay, I think we're done with the photo. So thank you very much once again. Congratulations. You can take your seats and enjoy this moment. And some of our leaders, LGBTQIA+ role models, couldn't be here tonight, but they didn't want to miss the party. That's why we're going to hear video messages from Alexandre Maïma and Aliette Mousnier-Lompré.
Good evening. I am Alexandre Maïma, Head of Audit at Societe Generale, members of the Management Committee of the Group, and members of the Societe Generale Group Steering Committee on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, specifically focused on LGBT+ inclusion. It's an honor to be nominated as a role model by the European Pride Business Network, and I thank warmly the members of the EPBN WISE project for this initiative and for selecting me. I see it as a recognition of the impact I try to have, both within Societe Generale and outside, as a gay person, to push for a safer environment where every person, in particular LGBT+1, feels free to be him or herself in the company and in the society more generally. I see it as a chance. What I meet other role models from other companies and countries to share collective concerns and exchange best practices. I see it as a new challenge for me to reinforce my visibility outside France and continue training and informing Societe Generale managers and beyond on why contributing to LGBT+ inclusion is important as a driver for higher equity, progress, and performance. It is all the more important for Europe to give a voice of progress on this topic. In an environment where LGBT+ rights are so fragilized in some regions in the world, including in some European countries. In a time where LGBT+ rights are under threats in various regions around the world, including some part of Europe, it is crucial for us to raise our voices in support of progress. Let us stand united and vigilant in our commitment to fostering a LGBT+ friendly society. Thank you for this opportunity to keep working hand in hand towards a brighter, more inclusive tomorrow.
Hello everyone. I am deeply honored and humbled to be recognized as one of the role models in this ceremony. In 2021, when I was appointed as an LGBT role model in France by L'Autre Cercle, I felt a wave of anxiety. While I had always been out at work, the idea of being publicly visible was very intimidating. However, encouraged by friends and colleagues, I took a leap of faith, believing it could help others. And I can say that not a single day since then I have regretted that choice. This journey has connected me with many people, not just in France, but across borders, supporting individuals in countries like Poland, India, Egypt or Morocco, as they navigated their own experiences and sought to create more inclusive environments. It has shown me the power of visibility and authenticity, and how it can profoundly impact lives. I've also realized how fortunate I am to work for Orange, a company that fosters an environment where every employee's uniqueness is seen as a strength, fueling collective performance. This message extends beyond LGBT issues. It's about ensuring everyone feels free to be authentic at work and in life. everyone is welcome at the table. So thank you once again for this recognition. I take it as an encouragement to contribute even more to build an environment where everyone can shine.
So now the time to shine for the awardees in the second category. Let's recognize our outstanding LGBTQIA+ professionals. To take us into this special moments, let's welcome on the stage Alejandro Betancourt, Vice Chair at EPBN and Board Member of Network in Switzerland.
Good evening. I feel no pressure at all after
Okay,
well.
So let's move on. So this time, in the category of outstanding LGBTQIA+ professionals, the trophies go to, from Germany, Karsten Goray. Let's welcome him on the stage. From Czechia, Gareth Dibon-Smith. Also from Czechia, Jan Kotik. Please join us. From Germany, Liam Michel Seifert. From Czechia, Martin Zelenka. And from Austria, Martina Bednar. Time for the picture, time for our paparazzi. Let's capture this wonderful moment. As you know, people watching us on LinkedIn pick or didn't happen, so we need to survive this moment. Okay, got it. Thank you very much, and you can take your seats. And we're moving smoothly to the category 3, which is outstanding LGBTQIA professionals. Which are ally role models, of course. So this moment, to lead this momentous part of this evening, please welcome to the stage Lucia Urcioli, President of EDGE and EPBN Vice Chair.
Thank you very much. The fact that they are only two makes my task very easier, but I would like to thank all the allies, because finding an ally in our daily work is like finding a treasure. So thank you very much. You are very important for us.
So let's appreciate them even more, and I will invite onto the stage from Austria, Florian Klimscha. From France, Frédéric Xeri. From Austria, Jasmina Metzke. I from Czechia, Katarzyna Nosek. Where are our allies? Thank you very much. Time for a photo shoot. So smile for the picture. Smile for the picture. It's time for photographers. Okay, I'm waiting for the sign. Do we have it? Yes, got it. And this time, one ally couldn't join us today, but still, in the spotlight, in form of a video message. Let's hear from Florian Klimscha from Austria.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Florian Klimscha. I'm a banking and restructuring partner at the international law firm Freshfields. Unfortunately, I can't be with you and join you and celebrate you tonight, but I wanted to take the opportunity to use this way to say a big thank you for the selection as EPBN WISE role model this year. It's a great pleasure, it's a great honor, and it makes me sort of truthfully happy to have received that honor. We are a people's business. People are at our very heart. For us, our professional environment is a place where we spend a considerable amount of our time. In order to excel and to be successful, we strongly believe that everyone should feel comfortable, secure, welcomed, and appreciated exactly the way they are, since all efforts in terms of diversity, inclusion at the workplace are a key item of our work, and hence the selection as role model is especially appreciated. Thank you very much. I wish you all sort of a great night, a good time to celebrate, and thank you very much again. Bye-bye.
Once again, congratulations. Before we close this ceremony tonight, we have a special surprise to you. The EPBN WISE award is something new in Poland, but it doesn't mean we don't have any companies who are especially engaged in driving diversity, inclusion, change in Poland. That's why we're going to present a special recognition award, and this time I will invite onto the stage once again Alejandro Betancourt and Christophe Margaine, who will hand over these special recognitions. And it is my great pleasure to announce that the trophies this time go to Marcin Radkiewicz, Head of Orange Innovation Poland. And to Stowarzyszenie Miłość Nie Wyklucza, Love is Inclusive. Stay with us, don't leave us. Congratulations, and let's have this beautiful picture. Thank you very much. You can take your seats and celebrate. Oh, okay.
For the Association Award. So, love does not exclude is the translation into English. And this association has been a leading force in advancing equal rights for LGBTIQ+ people in Poland. For over a decade, the association has worked with dedication and expertise to promote marriage equality, support LGBTIQ+ families, and build a broad-based movement for inclusion. Through public education, legal advocacy, including a landmark win at the European Court of Human Rights, and strong partnerships with civil society, they have helped shape both public discourse and legislative priorities. Their campaigns have reached millions, the volunteers have built bridges across generations and regions, and their legal work has set precedents that go beyond Poland's borders. They have shown how change can be achieved through persistence, knowledge, and collaboration, always with respect for democratic principles. At a time when Poland is renewing its commitment to equality and human rights, their work is both timely and essential. For the unwavering commitment to justice, community, and the belief that love should never be a barrier to rights, we are proud to give this award to Miłość Nie Wyklucza.
Great pronunciation. Congratulations.
Sorry, I skipped so quickly. I had no idea I will have an opportunity to actually put my 3 sentences into the fray. Sorry for speaking in a hat. I only learned about the situation that I'm in right now 2 hours ago. Had absolutely no time to cut my hair. You don't want to see what's underneath it. I'm serving activist realness tonight. Thank you very much for this. It's obviously not very often that we are being held in such a huge honor by people who are definitely much more privileged than us, than activists, people who run around the streets, yell at politicians, say the ugly but necessary truths to power, and often have to fight with prejudice which is physical and violent and very much tangible. Our mission is basically to introduce marriage equality. However, before I became an activist, I was studying philosophy for ages, much too long. Then I quit the academy and decided to actually change the world using action rather than pure thought. However, one thing of having a broad philosophical education is that you always have a nice quotation on the spot. I do have one, actually. My favorite philosopher, Gilles Deleuze, in his last book, Qu'est-ce que la philosophie? He said that the point of all action is to fight with this one ugly truth, that the ways of living which are available to us are disastrously insufficient. And this is our mission at Love Does Not Exclude. L'amour n'exclut pas. Thank you. Merci.
Thank you very much. So, before we finally wrap up this ceremony, let's hear again the closing remarks from Krzysztof Śmiszek.
Well, yes, it's time already to close. I think we're perfectly on time. I'm impressed. I must say that, I was not really believing in the fact that we'll be actually on time. So I think now we'll all be ready soon to go to the cocktail part and to enjoy and to continue the celebration. So just a few words. I just want to again congratulate Martin for all his effort he's doing at Orange. I've been knowing him now for not too long, but I've been told a lot of things about his initiatives, actions, and tremendous effort to have a better place at Orange. And his story is really something that we can call him also as a role model. So congratulations for this special award, Martin. So yes, we just nearly spent like 3 hours together. We listened to amazing stories, experiences. It didn't go, sometime the way, we thought maybe a few months ago and so on, but I think it was great to the way it went. There would be so many thanks I would like to say, but I'm going to start with a very warm, and please, a big round of applause and special thanks to Jaime Romani, He's really the one behind the scene. I really want to thank him for his tremendous and reliable work. Like this, I could shine. I could be, doing nice things and so on. So he was doing already all the hard work. So thank you very much, Jaime, because together, we nearly know a lot of people here in the room. So thanks again for all your effort. And there's still a few months to come, so there's still effort to be done until the next ceremony in Prague in June 2026. And of course, we could not have done this project without the financial support. Yes, we need money to do this kind of ceremony. So thanks for the European Commission through the SERVE program. That's the Citizen Equality Rights and Value program. Special thanks to Orange and Legrand, who believe in us since the very beginning, I must say, of the project. And thanks to Sephora and Societe Generale, who joined the adventure as sponsor with very great enthusiasm. So I'm very thankful for those 4 sponsors that help us to make this project happening and making a success. Thanks also, of course, of the City of Paris, who is also supporting this project through their label Paris Europe. And then we are also very proud, and that's especially today in 2025, to have the patronage of the European Parliament to show this visibility and support of a European institution. That's very important for us. We have also the patronage of the French Embassy in Poland, the Canadian Embassy in Poland, and of the Polish Diversity Charter, and also of Campaign Against Homophobia, KPR, which are also in the room. So thank you very much to all of you for this support, for this patronage. they are very crucial signals to support the positive impact of diversity. And of course, yeah, I would say we are united in diversity, to use the theme of the last week meeting in Brussels. There was a meeting last week in Brussels for the opening event of the European Diversity Month. Of course, I would say if more companies want to join us to sponsor the WISE Pro journey, because it's not the end tonight, it's the continuation, and there's more to come in June in 2026, so we're happy to welcome you on board. And I will maybe finish with, as a project manager, I'm very thankful to the help of all this amazing team we had around us. So give really a big round of applause to Lucia, Matthas, Alejandro, Czeslaw, Teresa, Cathy, Bernie, Tommaso, Silvia, Pablo, Philippe, Miriam, Laurie, Charlotte, Olivier, and Sophie. And I'll just finish also because those role models, they've all been kind of assessed and scrutinized thanks to our European jury. And I want to say thank you to the whole European jury and to Françoise and to Angelo, who are actually tonight with us in the room. So thank you. That's all for myself. Thank you.
Christophe, Margaine, project manager of EPBN WISE. Once again, a round of applause to him. So as Christophe has already thanked to all of you and named all the people involved in organization of this special event, the only thing that continues is to say a big thank you from myself and to inform you that the celebrations continue. Now we're moving to the for a reception, for the cocktail party that will be served upstairs. So we'll meeting them there in a few minutes. There will be a special photo wall available for you. And of course, plenty of food and drinks for everyone and Sephora beauty stands, but you don't need it. And I would like to say goodbye to the audience joining us online on LinkedIn. Hopefully you were there with us all and you were carefully listening to every single word here because every word counts. Remember, inclusion is an act, and we should enjoy that and to take this message out of this room. Thank you very much and good night.